Hi, boys and girls. Today we are doing Chapter 12, Lesson 5, Draw and Analyze Line Plots. So our learning intention is I am learning to draw and read line plots so that I can analyze data. So the pages that we'll be doing today are pages 715, 716, and 717. So let's go ahead and get started. So a line plot uses X's above a number line to show how often a data value occurs. So it's talking about a frequency of things happening, how often something happens. Okay, so let's look at the first word problem. Let's get this other stuff out of here so it's not distracting. Albert spun a spinner 16 times to see how often the spinner landed on each number. Display the data in a line plot. So first you draw and label a line plot. You include all the values of the data and give it a title. So this one is called Numbers Spun because he spun a spinner. And we created a number line for this one because on the spinner you have a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4. So that's what is at the bottom of the number line. 0 for the 0 space on the spinner, a 1 for the 1 space, etc. Okay, and then this chart that's here, the chart with the orange header, says numbers spun. Every time he spun a number, he wrote it down in the box. And so then he's going to show how many times each number was spun. So he drew an X above the number for each result. So you complete the line box by drawing the they want us to complete the line plot by drawing the remaining X's. So there's, so in the chart up here, he had 1, 2, 3 zeros. Now, the way I like to do this when I'm having to use data like this is I cross it out as I use it. So how many zeros does he have? 1, 2, 3 zeros. So he has an Oreo. Get out of there. Sorry, I'm at home and the dog's trying to eat out of the cat box. Okay, so I have one X down here, so I'm going to need 1, 2 more X's. So I have 3 zeros. Okay, and then ones, there's already 4. Let's count how many ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now I'm going to put my X's here. Wait a minute. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then how many 2's? I have 1, 2, 3 2's. There's already 3 2's. There's 1, 3, and there's 1, 4. Okay, so now I've completed the line plot. So now we're going to analyze the line plot. We need to write a sentence that interprets the data. So we just need to pick one fact about the line plot for this. There's a lot of things you could say. Okay, but let's talk about how many times 1 was chosen. Okay, so he spun a 1 8 times. Let's use the number 8. So it doesn't look like 18, or the number word 8. So it doesn't look like 18. Okay, he spun a 1 8 times because, look at the spinner. The spinner part is huge. I mean, the 1 is huge compared to the other ones. So 3 and 4 are the smallest, and he spun those the least. So that makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, so he spun a 1 8 times because the space for 1 is bigger than the others. Okay. Actually, let's do this. He spun a 1 the most, which is 8 times, but I think I like the most best because that's what you're doing. You're just saying what's the most, what's least, what's fewer, what's more, like that. So there we go. Oops, hold on. Having trouble with my little locky thing. There it is. Okay, let's go to page 716. Oopsie, I didn't lock that in place, did I? Let me make this smaller and lock these pages in so I don't accidentally move them again. All right. Lock and lock that one. There we go. Okay, now let's go to page 716. Okay, so use Albert's line plot to find the difference between the greatest number of x's and the least number of x's. So find the number spun most often. The number spun most often was 1 because it has the most x's. So I'm going to put 1 there. How do you know? It has the most x's, like I just said. Oh, let me type this because that'll take forever and it'll be very messy. It has the most x's. Now, in this case, we use the apostrophe for plural for x because if we didn't, it would be confusing to look at. So when you're making something plural like that, you need the apostrophe, but that's the only time you use an apostrophe for a plural. Okay, how many times was the number 1 spun? Well, we already talked about that. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It was spun 8 times. Okay, let's look at number 2. Find the number spun least often. Okay, what numbers were spun least often? I know there were 2, so that's why it says what numbers were spun least often. So that was 3 and 4. How many times were each of these numbers spun? 1 time. Okay, the difference between the greatest number of x's and the least number of x's is, okay, now they didn't have to put an apostrophe because they put a capital X. So let me fix this so you can see that. With the lowercase x, it would look weird. So that's why I added the apostrophe to it. Because it looks like just XS. So if I do this capital, there we go. Now it's x's. It has the most x's. That works. Okay, so the difference between the greatest number of x's and the least number of x's is, so the greatest number of x's is 8 minus 1, which is 7. So the difference is 7. Remember, when you see the word difference, you know they're going to want you to subtract. Okay? That's going to be important because you'll come across the word difference a lot on graphing questions. Okay, let's do the guided practice. This is the part where you will pause the video and then come back and find out what the answer is to see if you understand what you're doing. Okay, it says display the set of data in the line plot. So you've got the data here. You've got numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the number of letters in siblings' names. So they should have started this number line at 2 because that's your smallest number. But anyway, it shows all the numbers 0 through 7. And then you're going to put X's for the number of tally marks that there are above each number. So there's one occurrence of 2 letters. So you're going to put an X over the 2 like that. So pause the video and then come back and I'll show you how the right answer. Okay, so there's one time that there are 2 letters in a name. So we're going to put 1 X over the 2. 3 has 0, so we're not going to put any X's. 4 has 2, so I'm going to put 2 X's over 4. 5 has 2, I'm going to put 2 X's over 5. 6 has 1, so I'm going to put 1 X over 6. And 7 has 2, so I'm going to put 2 X's over 7. Just like that. That's all you had to do. Okay, let's go up to the independent practice. So this is what you are going to do for your work. So it says display the set of data in the line plot. So number of siblings that people have. Siblings are brothers and sisters. So friends that have 0 siblings, that's 1 friend. That have 1 sibling, that's 3 friends. 2 siblings, that's 5 friends, and so on. So you need to number the number line from 0 to 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 0 through 5. And then put X's for however many times or however many people have that number of siblings. Okay. Then you're going to type what is one conclusion you can draw from this line plot. I want you to use the question in your answer. So I'm going to give you a sentence starter, and you may use this sentence starter, but then you need to finish the sentence. One conclusion. Now, conclusion is what can you decide from looking at this line plot? Kind of like we did on the other one where we said that one was spun the most often. Okay, so one conclusion that I can draw from this line plot is, oops, what happened to my typing? Plot is, and then you're going to finish the sentence. Okay, so create the line plot, then tell one conclusion that you can draw from it. What can you decide about from this line plot? Okay, for exercises 3 and 4, you're going to refer to the line plot below. How many students' quiz scores are recorded? So you're going to get this a lot. Okay, these are all the quiz scores. Each X represents a student, and these numbers down here are the grades. So one student got 86, nobody got 88, one student got 90, 4 students got 92, one student got 94, 3 students got 96, nobody got 98, and 2 students got 100. Okay, so you are going to tell me how many students' quiz scores are on this chart and tell me how you know. So you need a comma because you have the word explain here. Okay. Then down here, draw a conclusion. What is one conclusion you can draw from this line plot? Okay, so you're going to say, one conclusion I can draw from this line plot is, okay. So there you go. That is drawing and analyzing line plots.